Stop what you're doing for a few minutes. Listen to this podcast. Trust me, you will not regret it. I'm not just saying that to get some views. I'm saying it because if you listen to it, your life will be better for it. I promise. I know mine is after this conversation. Today's guest, Scott Rogowsky, the Puzzle Poppy, they call him. He is a game show host, a stand-up comedian, among many other things. He's a Mets fan. We got to talk about that. But what a conversation. We talk life stuff, and I like talking life stuff. So do yourself a favor and listen to this episode. Enjoy. As always, hit like, subscribe, share. Do all the things that don't cost you any money to help support, because that's what I want from you. And leave a comment here. I thought this was a great episode. I'm excited for you guys to hear it. This is the Hold My Ball podcast. Enjoy. Welcome to the Hold My Ball podcast. Scott Rogowsky, the Puzzle Poppy. Is that good right there?
No, you got the Big Poppy. You got Ortiz as Big Poppy. I guess I'm the Petite Poppy, Puzzle Poppy, Puzzle Pappy. If you're, I like the joke. It depends on who you watched at the Super Bowl halftime show, Bad Bunny or Kid Rock. If it's Bad Bunny, I'm Puzzle Poppy. Kid Rock, I'm Puzzle Pappy. So
that was one of the most controversial just concerts I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, man, people, we all want to find something these days.
Exactly. You know, there's not a single thing. I'm sure there'll be controversy after our episode comes out, Jake. This is every single piece of content. Someone just has to be in the comments getting angry, upset about it. I think it's like a pathological disease at this point for some people.
I think I say it all the time. People ask me a lot about social media. I'm like, as long as you understand that everybody on there is looking to be angry and a small percentage aren't, you're going to be all right. You can say hi the wrong way.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I try to find compassion nowadays. Like I try to, because I've learned that the more it's easy to make fun of people, right? It's easy to just say, look at this idiot, look at these people. But that just only adds more fuel to this massive dumpster fire. If every one of us just takes the time to like pump the brakes, relax, and even if someone's being a jerk online, just try to find out like why are they acting that way? Why would someone say that? And usually if you ask yourself why someone would do this, it comes back to, they just want to be seen. They just want love. We all want love at the end of the day. And that's their warped way of trying to get it because of how they were programmed when they were kids. So we all have our mishigas, as they say in Yiddish. We all have our issues. But for some of us, we express those issues by being angry at the world. It's coming from a place of love, as weird as it is to think about. I really believe that.
I believe that too. I think the internet gives an outlet for people to find love, even for that, right? You post the comment that's very mean to somebody, and it gets 1,000 likes, and those people are like, yeah, I feel good. So I think for me, the internet is always, I'd never used it for business or to try and grow or try to be anything until it happened organically. And then I'm like, okay, now I suppose I should look at this as a business. And it changes a lot. You don't take things personal. I'm not on there for anything other than, I guess I'm myself on there, which is nice. I get to just go throw my personality out there. People love it. People hate it, but I'm not creating content. I'm not trying to be something. So it's interesting to me when I look at people that are, because even when I wasn't, I never got on there and got angry. I was looking for just funny. Let me laugh for 20 minutes and get out of here. So I don't know that I'll ever understand it, but I think the way you just said it makes a lot of sense. But talk to me, I could introduce you, but you have so many things here. Why don't you tell me, like right now, obviously we got it's Savvy. Tell me the actual, where to find it, what it's called.
Yeah, it's the app is called Savvy. It's an app that I founded last year, co-founded with 3 other people, and we've built this company in the last year. We've got I think we just hired our 10th employee. So I mean, we're growing slowly, steadily. Basically, the app is a live game show app. So some of your viewers, listeners might remember a game show that came out on the phone called HQ Trivia in 2017. Got really popular in 2018. I left in March of 2019. So it's been 7 years since I was on that show. And that was a show and an app that I did not start, did not found, did not create. I was like a hired gun on that thing. It became this international, massive, viral sensation, millions and millions of people watching this thing every night. but it was, a burning bright, flash in the pan kind of thing, because essentially after about 6 months of intense media attention and pop culture, having a moment, as they say in pop culture, it faded, and the app ultimately crashed and burned. I left, like I said, March 2019, and by February 2020, they went bankrupt. Completely went out of business. $100 million company. It was valued at $100 million, went to zero in 2 years.
How does that happen?
How does it happen? Well, there's a whole documentary about it, Jake. You can watch.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah, don't waste. Tell me the name of the documentary and we'll move on.
The documentary is called Glitch, The Rise and Fall of HQ Trivia. It aired on CNN, and then it went to HBO Max, and then it got pulled off the air because of some legal issue. You can find it on torrent sites, I think. If someone really wants to track it down, I believe it's on the dark web now, but it's called Glitch. Yeah. Good luck finding it. But the long and short of it is, there are a lot of factors. There are a lot of factors that contribute to its success in the first place, and then to its downfall. And I've actually been writing about it for my Substack. I'm going to try to publish today, in fact, a kind of my analysis of it. But basically, my analysis is all these factors, notwithstanding, the fundamental issue was the people who created the game, the app, HQ Trivia, they did not understand their own product. They didn't fully understand what they created because they kind of threw it against the wall. There was no plan at the beginning, no strategy. They said, let's just do a trivia show on the phone and see what happens. And what happened was it became the most watched show in the world. That's
crazy.
But they just were not prepared for the success of it. They didn't understand the fact that they were dealing with a mobile game and a live television show sort of mashed together. So they didn't build the right mechanics to keep users coming back from a mobile gaming perspective. Because I don't know if you play mobile games, but there's a whole, years and years of development and study and practice around building mobile games and retention mechanics to keep people hooked, keep users coming back, because people get bored, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of things competing for our attention these days. There are a billion games you could play, shows to watch, podcasts to listen to. How do you find the thing that you want? Well, it's got to be interesting, compelling, entertaining, engaging. And so mobile games have, built these psychological hooks to keep people involved. HQ didn't have that because there was nobody who had mobile game experience working there. and on top of that, we were a live TV show. There was no one working there who had experience in live television either. So it was a total inexperience.
Was this the plan? Let's make a mobile game and a live show at the beginning, and then it just blew up, or did the live part come in later and it just spiraled into this great big thing, and that eventually they just couldn't handle?
So the full story is the guys who founded the company that created HQ. They initially founded Vine. Remember the app Vine?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So it was the founders of Vine, the 6-second video. So what was Vine? Vine was a user-generated content platform, UGC it's called. They created the tools. They created an app that allowed people to make videos, edit videos, very much like what TikTok is today. But they themselves didn't have to kind of create the content, right? They built the framework, the infrastructure, and then the users took it. And then that's how Logan Paul became Logan Paul, right? All these people got big off of there. So that's what they were good at. They were good at designing the logo and coming up with the technology to create the app. Great. They came over, they sold Vine to Twitter, and then they started this new company. Initially, they built an app called Hype, which was similar. It was a UGC app that allowed people to go live, broadcast live, and create their own kind of little shows with music and templates and multimedia elements. So that was their second idea, Hype. Well, Hype didn't catch on the way Vine did, but there was one person using Hype, some woman doing a trivia show in her bedroom that was getting maybe 50 views, 100 views, which was a lot for that platform. And they said, you know what? This is kind of interesting. Let's do our own trivia show. Let's make it ourselves. So that's how they built HQ. That's how HQ got started. In fact, HQ stands for Hype Quiz. That's initially what it was called, because it came from Hype. So all that to say, Jake, all that is, again, it was a completely kind of accidental discovery. And they said, let's try this trivia thing and see if it works. And sure enough, they hired me. The thing blew up, but they just they didn't really know what they had, to the point where I remember conversations between the founders, as we were getting popular. One guy said, because remember, the whole point of HQ is a live host, right? It was me, real person, going live at 9 o'clock every night and 3 p.m. in the afternoon, Eastern time. It was like designated times, appointment viewing. People gathered around, offices came together, schools came together, families came together and played together. It was like this really beautiful communal thing that got built around it. And also because there's a human being, interacting. This is kind of before live streaming really took off the way it has, right?
Yeah.
2017, think about it. But one of the founders, he's like, what if we just do 10 shows a day, no host? Because that's what the data people think, right? Like, well, if this is working, let's just do 10 more of them. And I'm like, whoa. No, like that's not what this is, man. You're gonna ruin it. Right?
3 and 9 is already a lot. A couple of here a day. So.
and take away the host, like, well, then what do you have?
That's crazy.
So it's all to say is like, there's a long way of saying they just didn't really know what they were dealing with. And when you build a product and you don't understand the product, you don't understand the customer, you don't understand what you've done, then clearly you're not gonna it's not gonna succeed, right, in the long term.
Yeah,
and that's
makes sense.
So Savvy is my attempt to do it the right way. Take all the learnings from that. 7 years later, I have a team that comes from mobile gaming, so they're very experienced in that world. I have experience in live television, and not to mention 500 episodes of HQ Trivia under my belt. And we're bringing really having experience, knowledge, wisdom from both sides of the sides of the ball, if you want to use a sports term, and we're putting it together and creating a game show called Text Savvy, which airs Sunday through Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. So 5 days a week, live show. It's a word puzzle game. It's inspired by Wordle, if you're familiar with the Wordle game. And you go head to head against me. I'm the host, but as a player, you're competing against me. So you have to beat me, score more points than me to win the game, and we give away money. And it's really a super fun show on the Savvy app, which can be downloaded for Apple or Android. PlaySavvy.live, www.playsavvy.live, free download. Dude, we launched this thing 3 weeks ago. We're up to.
I was going to say.
We started 3 weeks ago. We went from like 1,200 people to now 5,000 people last night. We're growing day by day, week over week. You're catching me at an amazing time. I'm feeling a little manic. I'm like, this guy seems a little. I'm drinking coffee, but I'm also just like super pumped to be in this moment right now because it's kind of taking off like the way HQ did, which is, dude, if we can get to millions of people the way HQ, I mean, I have no expectations for this thing this time around. As far as I'm concerned, we are a success as things stand. As things stand today,
it's amazing.
But it is amazing.
What's your record as of now? You pretty good? Are you a tough guy to beat on this? Obviously,
dude. Actually,
some people hop in and they're ready, huh?
I'm struggling on that front. I really need to pick it up. Last night I finished like 62nd percent. I mean, we have a percentile, so you can see, top 1%. I was like top 62%. I think the best I finished is like in the 30s, maybe. I could use a little more practice with that.
That's real though. I like that. I believe in like things are always going to be the way they are a little bit. We're obviously in control, but when I was looking at this, my PlayStation, my name's Jake Savicki. My PlayStation, I don't know what they even call them, sign-in name, something, is Savvy Sales, Savvy, Savvy Sales. And my couple of my names on certain things are Jay Savvy. I'm like, this is supposed to be here. We're supposed to be
I like that. Synchronicity, man. Well, you should definitely, listen, I tell you what, download it, give it a shot. And are you good at Wordle? Do you play those games?
I play a little bit. I think I'm competitive. So if I'm not good in the beginning, I'm gonna get good. But I'm gonna get in there for sure. I want to jump in.
You're in San Diego, right?
Yeah.
You come up to LA. I'm in LA. Next time you're in LA, we'll have you co-host because I do have celebrity co-hosts now. We had Reggie Watts on the show last week. I've got the Sklar brothers coming up, David Wayne coming up. So I'm trying to bring some like friends of mine on the show to then they play against the audience. So it's nice for me. I get to take a break. I don't have to play that night when my friends come. So you want to come by, man? And I know you're a competitive dude. It'll be fun to have Jay Savvy on Play Savvy.
Hey, we're getting trading information after this, and we'll schedule that. That'd be fun.
Yeah,
I like that. But you've been doing a lot. I mean, this is what you're doing now, and this sounds like this is going to be doing what you do. You don't get here without doing a whole bunch of stuff along the way. I know you've did stand-up comedian. Is that how you started?
Yeah,
Or
in
no?
terms of starting in like the comedy world, the entertainment world, yeah, you could, stand up is 20 years ago now, 21 years ago. I started in college, and I never really like had this idea that I was going to make it as a stand-up comedian. I'll be honest, like I knew even at that age, like some young people are like so full of the confidence and borderline arrogance or delusion, or like, I'm the best in the world. I never had that attitude. I was a little more self-deprecating. Like even for sports, man, like I played baseball growing up. I played a lot of sports, but baseball was my number one. And, I was not naturally athletically gifted. Okay. But I went to the baseball camps. I practiced my butt off. I was named co-captain my senior year on the team. And I had a guy who went to the major leagues, Pedro Alvarez, all-star with the Pirates, led the National League in home runs in 2013 with Paul Goldschmidt, by the way. Pedro Alvarez. He was my shortstop. And, I was 2 years above him. So, it was a pretty decent team. And anyway, I didn't have grand illusions of making it to the major leagues, but I did tell myself it would be really nice if I could get drafted in the 49th round by the Montreal Expos, just to make it to rookie ball, just to have like, if I played 5 games in the Gulf Coast League, I'd call that a career. I'd be thrilled, right? Yep. But I didn't get that even. But that's sort of where my goals were. Like, just give me like Appalachian League, Johnson City Cardinals. I'll take like,
something. I just saw an open tryout for the Angels, and I told my wife, I said, I'm going to go try out so I can tell our grandkids one day that the Angels were looking at me back in my day.
That's it.
I won't be lying then.
You're not lying, man. Like, we all got to have a story to tell ourselves and tell our kids, right?
No doubt.
But ultimately with comedy, I kind of had the same approach. Like I saw, the field at that time, and it was like Jerry Seinfeld, like all these guys. And like when you're starting out in a space like that, that there are certain guys, Chris Rock, Seinfeld, Louis C.K. at the time, like certain guys are just like at the top, and there are very few spots at the top, right? Like, is Scott Rogowsky really going to be up there in that level with those guys in that league? Like, maybe if I had that attitude, yeah, I am, then I'd be there. But at the time I was like, no, I don't think this is going to be like my path to stardom. Instead, I pivoted. I did stand up, but I pivoted pretty quickly to hosting talk shows. And I'm a big sports fan. So I hosted a show called 12 Angry Mascots. It was a sports comedy show in New York City from like 2008 to 2011. I did it with my buddy Neil Janowitz, and we had athletes on the show and sports personalities. Kenny Mayne, Matthew Berry came on, but like Darrelle Revis was a guest. We had Chris Duhan. We had Jeff Nelson, old Yankees pitcher. Random David Deal from the Giants. A lot of like local guys, Jericho Cotchery. A lot of like local New York talent, but super fun show to do. And I found my niche, my kind of lane, which was like hosting a show, because I got to do stand up. I got to do a monologue, but I also got to do sketches and bits and work with writers and have musical guests and do interviews like that. I love just talking to people and having interviews. And so that was, to me, like, this is way before podcasting, right? 2008. I'm like, this is fun as hell. Live talk shows in comedy clubs. So I did that for 3 years with the sports thing. Then I started my own talk show called Running Late with Scott Rogowsky, which was not sports related. Just I figured sports might be too limiting for like a mainstream audience. So I kind of just did like a Colbert, Kimmel, Conan, like late night style talk show with a band, a house band, sidekick. My dad was my sidekick. And again, just
that's awesome.
Tons of celebrity guests: John Hamm, Paul Rudd, John Oliver, Regis Philbin, even Jerry Springer did the show. All sorts of people. I had 400 guests over the years, and that kind of ran its course, because in the middle of that, sort of towards the end of that, in 2017, that's when HQ came calling, and once HQ happened and that fucking took off, like I didn't really have time to be producing and my own talk shows independently anymore. I did a few after that, but 2019 was the last Running Late show I did, and then pandemic came along, and you know how that goes. So the last 5-6 years post pandemic have definitely been, for all of us, I think, a little bit of like, okay, finding our sea legs again, and getting back on track. I know some people got back on track quicker than others. It took me a little while, but now that I got this team with me on Savvy, we got this concept, we got this show, I feel like I'm ready to hit the ground running, man.
I love that. I think, COVID did a lot to a lot of people. Obviously, I was not directly affected in my family or network by the illness taking anybody, thankfully. But aside from that, really good for me. I mean, I was a high school baseball coach at the time, and now looking back, I own a clothing company and do this, and I'm all over at some event that I show up to and go, how the fuck did this happen to me? This is awesome. So I'm not thankful that happened, but I'm thankful there was a transition period in my life that brought me here. Cause I think like you, it's, if you would have told me 5 years ago as a high school baseball coach that this is what I'd be doing, I would think, what, did something go terribly wrong and I had to get out of there or what? But it's just a natural, the time was up and moved on and things worked out. So it is pretty cool.
Can I ask you, can I turn the tables real quick? I'll get my own talk show hosting shoes on here. So what was it that kind of inspired you or that clicked for you to make that transition? Because I think a lot of people did make some kind of massive life transition with the pandemic and going from a high school baseball coach to, like I said, clothing company, podcasting. Do you remember, was it a conscious decision you made? Like, screw it, I'm pivoting here?
Yeah. So I had, I wasn't, when I coached high school baseball, I wanted to be the high school baseball coach, not like I wouldn't post anything on social media that I wanted to be looked at as a guy that was like taken seriously by the kids, because the kids see everything. If I'm posting something stupid and then I'm showing up trying to coach them, it doesn't work well. So I didn't do much. COVID rolled around. That was obviously one of the first things to go, is youth sports and all of that. So, at some point, like a lot of people, I started posting something. I thought I'd never see anybody again ever. So I'm like, well, fuck it, post some stuff and see what happens. And a couple of things blew up. Really, Barstool reposted a video I made. I had like 0 followers on anything. Put one on TikTok. They reposted it on their Twitter, and all of a sudden it blew up. And I had people in my DMs like, hey, we want to give you this. And I'm like, all right, I have like no followers, and people are offering me free things, this and that. And I'm like, there's something here. If I had actual followers, there's a lot here. So I kind of bought into it a little bit. And I think the coaching would have ended regardless, because I have a daughter who's 10 now, and she was like 6 getting ready to play her own sports. And I said, all right, I've given enough time to everyone else's kids for 10 years. It's time to give my own daughter time. So that would have happened regardless. But the clothing, I've always been into fashion, not deep enough to, manufacture my own clothes. I'm not sewing and creating that way, but I like fashion. Fashion for me is like, it's like working out. When you're in shape and you get out of bed and you feel good, you're like, yeah, clothing is for everybody to feel good. Everybody's got their favorite shirt, no matter what shape they're in. The pants that fit them just right. I'm like, clothes can make people feel really good on a given day. So I enjoy that part of it. And, I think to our point, the reason I think my clothing even worked at all was I made one hat and there's a circle on it that says, these are the good old days, in a circle, and did that in like 2020, right around 2020.
Wow.
And it popped off. And I said, I think the reason this works is because when people are scrolling on social media, they're angry. They're just angry and they don't realize it. And then they come across something like that and it makes them feel something, and it makes them feel something good. And they're like, oh, I didn't even know I needed this, but this is nice. So it sold really well because it has some sentiment to it and means something. And then the brand took the form of like that. It's just really about being present and whatever we're doing. Like you and I, this is the most important thing we're doing right now because it's the only thing we're doing. So like I'm fully engaged when I'm doing something, but so that's it. So that's kind of how it happened. I mean, that's a little bit of a natural turn with quitting to take care of my daughter. And then the rest, social media by accident became, I guess, a piece of it. I just saw I saw what it could do when I had no followers and said, all right, if I can build them, then this will create some freedom.
In a funny way, man, my story is similar because I was actively like in that world of comedy, trying to kind of get noticed, right? Like I don't know what I was trying to do, I was really just trying to get, I don't know, a TV show. Because in my mind, like that was still, I have a very old school mentality. So even like into 2015, 16, 17, when television was declining and everyone's cutting the cord. I'm like, no, wait, don't cut the cord. I want to be on there. I don't want to be on freaking like, I didn't even have an Instagram, dude. I had no personal Instagram, no Snapchat. TikTok wasn't around. Like I had 3,000 Twitter followers and I thought like that was good. I'm like, all right, I got a few thousand Twitter followers just from like making jokes all the time and just tweeting. Yeah. Well, HQ comes around and at first I'm like, what is this thing? A game show on the phone? Like, great. Like I want to be on television. Okay. And now here I am like stooping to this level of some kind of like app show, which in my mind was as good as a taxi TV or elevator TV or gas station TV, right? Like, hey, there's a special on Kit Kats and Powerade after you fuel up on Pump 6. Like,
start pumping the gas and you think someone's talking to you, you turn around, that's just a little video over here selling you something for 30 seconds.
And listen, I'm not going to denigrate that. Like people are on there and that's making a living and everybody's trying to get somewhere. But to me, it didn't have the appeal, like the marquee, a grandeur in my mind of being on television, having a late night talk show, right? Well, wouldn't you know, this HQ thing gets more viewers, millions of viewers, more than any television talk show that I could have ever wanted. I'm getting more on this app. So like best laid plans of mice and men, right? I mean, it's truly nuts. And the fact that I didn't have an Instagram page, all of a sudden I'm hosting and my friends are like, dude, you got to get an Instagram. Like you got to capitalize on this, monetize, get the followers. And I was super late for that. But anyway, it's I didn't really want to get into that territory and really like dip my toes in, but I got thrown into the ocean, man, and it rocked me, man. It was definitely it took some getting used to.
It's worked. One of my favorite sayings. I have it on my board. It says, "Be stubborn on the destination, but flexible on the journey." You know where you want to be, but you might have to be flexible enough to go where it takes you. And this, like you said, do I want to be on TV? Yeah, but would I trade TV for outperforming every show on TV? Yeah, put me on the phone. Fine, right. Put me on the app. Like this is the audience, and I'm doing what I love. So good for you, man. I think that that's a big piece of it. And to your credit, back when 18, 19, whenever that started, it wasn't what it is now. It was probably that was the transition phase. With the Vine and kind of that coming and going, and the internet and the social media and the apps starting to really do something other than people hanging out, connecting with old friends. It became a real place, a platform for people like you and me and people that want to do something. And my favorite thing about it is I used to tell my high school kids, the baseball players at the banquet, I'm like, look, you're graduating. It's 2018. You're going to go to college in 2022. If you graduate college and you're not doing something you love for a living, you're probably doing it wrong. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but there's so much opportunity. You have an idea, you have a personality, like a million people could see it tomorrow. And I promise there's an audience for whatever you're into. I used to always say there's probably some lady that peels potatoes and takes a bite and makes $1 million a year because people like watching her taste test potatoes. I don't know, but like there is an audience for everything, and there's an audience that enjoys it, So for me, it's interesting to have turned into that now. I'm like, why? My kids will text me, hey, did you ever think you were going to be the baseball guy, the ball? I'm like, no, but point proven. Like there you go. There's an audience.
Exactly, man. And dude, I for so long, like, I'm a huge baseball guy too. And I start to see the baseball content started coming up, right? People starting podcasts, YouTube shows, Instagram pages. And I was like, man, what if I just started, getting into that, trying my hand in that world. But I think what it comes down to is like, you clearly have a love for this thing and you're coming from an authentic place of wanting to engage with it. Whereas I was, as much as I love baseball, it was coming from, oh, look what everyone else is doing. I want to get in on that, which is not really the most authentic approach, right? If we're being honest, I'm being honest myself.
Self-awareness is key. And you would have burnt out, that you would have been watching games because you have to, because you need to go talk about it, and this is blah. Right. So I think finding your lane. I'm a big the world guides you. I'm not a big philosopher, but I've learned that if I'm doing the wrong thing, it's like I take one step forward and get knocked 2 steps back. It's like if I'm doing the right thing, I take a step forward, and it's like the universe, God, whatever you believe in, takes like 2 steps forward for you. You're like, oh shoot, I took 1 step. Now this door opened, and okay, good, things are working. You feel it. You feel when you're where you're supposed to be.
The wind at the back, the wind at your back, just pushing you
100%,
ahead. Exactly.
100%. But well, listen, spring training is here. Who is your team? You a Mets guy? I've heard.
I'm a Mets guy, and you're a Dodgers guy. So we got to talk. This is on every Mets Dodgers fan when they get together. They're only talking about one thing right now: Austin Barnes. Austin Barnes, non-roster invite for my Mets.
That is one of the most important, off-season moves here that I don't think anybody's talking about. So we need to talk about.
Let's get into it. Barnesy, 2-time world champ.
Yes.
Now forget
about the Tucker with $60 million a year and Bichette with whatever $40 million. Let's talk about
forget
Barnesy.
Diaz. Forget taking Diaz from us.
Forget all that. Yeah. You guys got experience, and that's important.
That's right.
This is such a good time for sports in general, but baseball, the spring training, it just feels good. It just feels good. You're watching these guys play games that matter for them personally, trying to make teams, but they don't matter. And it's just like okay, we're here and we're like easing into it, and it's nice and it's fun. You're seeing guys hit bombs into a grass hill instead of stands. I love that. I think it's the best.
It's my favorite time of year, dude. I mean, mostly selfishly because like I'm sure there's some baseball fans who, don't enjoy watching like the 36-year-old, non-roster dude trying to make it, trying to hack it one last time, or some random minor leaguer they never heard of, wearing jersey number 97, getting up there and taking the hats. But those are my favorites, man. Like I was watching the Dodgers Angels the other day with Josue DePaula, getting his hacks. I'm like, hell yeah, dude. I'm excited for Josue. Get him in there. I mean, because I've always been a prospect guy. Like even when I was a kid, I was always collecting the Bowman cards, the first Bowmans, Baseball America subscription every week, getting that, like running down top 10 prospects for each organization. I mean, now I know that this whole like prospect world has grown a lot in recent years and people are more aware of it. But when I was a kid, dude, in the mid 90s, like very few people were on that prospect train to the point where I could go to baseball card shows and I'd be pulling like rookie cards of guys that were in the 25-cent bin that at the time, guys like Corey Patterson and like Ruben Mateo and Bruce Chen, Braves pitcher Bruce Chen. Like these were like top prospects coming up. Some of them don't pan out the way you want them to. In fact, most of the guys I collected didn't pan out the way I wanted them to.
It's a tough one. It's a tough sport, but it only takes a couple.
It only takes a couple. Whatever reason, dude, I came up at like that late 90s. If you go back and look at the prospect lists of these guys from like 97, 98, 99, you go, wait, what happened to this whole generation? Like very few players are Hall of Fame caliber talents, right? Like 2001, Albert Pujols comes up. Okay, so like Pujols and Ichiro were 01, great, two of the all-timers. But if you look at like some of even the rookie of the years, like Jason Jennings, Scott Williamson, dude, these were rookies of the year. Even guys like Jose Cruz Jr., who was the biggest prospect. Nothing. Yeah. Like Corey Patterson was on the cover of Baseball America all the freaking time. Josh Hamilton, he eventually picked it up when he, got back into it. But first overall pick in 99, had his moment sprinkled into all his problems, but dude, like
he'll
none
go
of these
down
guys,
as one of the. He'll go down as one of the biggest. Just like I don't even like to say waste of talent. It's a bummer. He obviously has an issue, and that's very real. He's one of my all-time favorite players. I watching him was unbelievable. I think that Yankee home run derby was one of baseball's greatest moments ever. What all he'd been through, and he goes into New York and does that, is absolutely incredible. It's just so hard. It's a day-to-day thing, and as the game evolves, with these guys are sitting there in the dugout on iPads watching what this pitcher has, and they know what percentage he's going to throw this pitch. It's just like the advantage on both sides is getting so freaking hard. It's, Mike Trout was talking to somebody, I think 2 years ago. And he was like, Trouty, what's happening? Because he just got done playing. He played the same time as Trout and just retired. He's like, what's happening, man? He's like, you hitting 120 for the past 2 months. And Trout's like, hey, man. He's like, when we came up, how many guys do you remember throwing 95? He's like, shit, when somebody was throwing 94, 95, we were like, all right, we got to get on time, boys. We got to be ready today. He's like, everybody's throwing 100 now. He's like, what the fuck do you think is happening? This shit is hard. He's like, this is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's not as if bat speed is getting faster, necessarily. I mean,
he's
you can only swing a bat so hard and so fast, but the ball seemed to get a little quicker.
Faster and faster. It's crazy, the training. But you, are you like a diehard Mets guy? Because I doing baseball content, the Mets fans are actually not bad, but the Yankee fans are the absolute worst. They're the worst. I love going back and forth with them. I trigger them with just they go, oh, you love the Yankees. I'm like, no, it's just a slow day, and you guys are the lowest hanging fruit for engagement. And they're like, oh, fuck off. I'm like, it's just, there you go, point proven. But the Mets fans to me seem pretty good. And disclaimer, every Yankee fan I know in real life is awesome. They're good people. But the internet
especially ones named Mike, right?
Yeah, Mike. I see Mike back there. That's the only reason I said that. But no, it's that's the fun part for me too, seeing the fans and getting involved in the world like this. And I give takes. That's what I do. I'm going to be wrong a lot. I'm going to be right sometimes. So it's fun for me to put stuff out there and see if it happens. And I know if it doesn't, it's good either way. If it doesn't happen, people are waiting to come back and go, this fucking idiot, I told you. If it does happen, they're like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah, there's something funny about Yankee fans because growing up in New York like I did, and I'm not gonna lie to you. When I was super little, man, my dad was a Yankee fan. He grew up a Yankee fan in the Mickey Mantle days, and so you've got like Yankees fandom from my dad's generation in the 50s when they were winning the World Series almost every year. Okay, I mean just dynasty domination, the best of the best at a time where there was no free agency, so people were. They just did a better job at scouting and developing players like all these guys, Mantle, Ford, Elston Howard, these are homegrown guys. I mean, they got Roger Maris on a trade, or they picked him up, but like they had this Kansas City, this AAA club in Kansas City, man, before Kansas City had a major league team. And they just like going back to DiMaggio and Garrett, like they just, I don't know. They developed talent very well over all these years.
You take the top 100 players from that time, and probably 60 of them will be wearing Yankee uniforms. Yeah. That's just the way it was.
Yeah, Yogi Berra and all. So anyway, like my dad's generation, they're just Yankee fans, and they win, and they're used to winning. And then the Yankees had, they kind of these ups and downs, and major trough in like the late 60s, early 70s. But then Reggie Jackson, but this is interesting. When Steinbrenner took over, they became this team that they sort of set the parameters for what we've seen baseball become, which is like, we're just going to sign guys at all costs. Reggie, Dave Winfield, right? Like big free agents, Catfish Hunter, he came from the A's. Like they're all of a sudden, they're just assembling these all-star teams to win World Series. And it worked. They won 77, 78. They got back to the World Series in 81. But, again, it's the ups and downs. The 80s were pretty rough. Early 90s when I was coming up. So, but 96, dude, the 96 Yankees, that was an incredible team. And to watch that team win, I'll never forget, the final out, Charlie Hayes jumping up and down, Wade Boggs going around the stadium on the horse. And this was a team that they were, Jeter was in his second year. Right, like all the core four, right? Rivera, Pettit, they're all, again, homegrown talent that had assembled in this organic way, plus a few signings like your Wade Boggs and, like your John Wetland or whatever. But it was an exciting team to watch because they felt scrappy. They felt like underdogs. They got into the wild card the year before with Mattingly. His last year, that was heartbreaking that he couldn't get all the way. Yeah. So Mattingly leaves. But dude, once they won that World Series 96, it was like, all right, Steinbrenner got it in his head, we're just going to become like the evil empire again and just sign everybody. And that's when I got turned off to them as a fan, because it's just like you look, and it's kind of what the Dodgers are doing today, frankly. It's the exact freaking playbook. But you
It's
go,
the exact same thing.
But you go like, wait a minute, you're just going to sign Kevin Brown and Gary Sheffield and Randy Johnson and, down the line, I mean, like, Carl Pavano even a little later, but like they make these massive, massive free agent signings, take everybody off the market. And like, what are you going to do? Like, as a fan of another team, you go, well, of course they're going to win now because they're spending the most money. That's usually how it works. And at that point, the Mets became my calling card, because I was like, this is a team that is trying to do it, the old fashioned way, and like, keep a lower payroll and just, have a scrappier underdog team. That in 2000, when they played the Yankees, that was the greatest freaking moment, dude, because like, this is it. This is like the tail of the tape to see, who's going to walk away with it. Unfortunately, we came up just short there, but it's a fun fandom, man. Being a Mets fan, I got to say, like, you can't have high expectations. I'm not going to say people do, like, especially with the Stevie Cohen era now, all the money being spent in that regard. But like, when the Mets were the real Mets, the Omar Minaya, god damn, those years, like the bumbling in the front office and you can't but laugh at it. It was so absurd what was going on, and the injuries and the just like snake bitten, the bad luck. But like, yeah, that's why I like the Mets. They're at times comically bad team, and you have to just laugh about it.
Those are the things that make fans, and I love that, because I was a Yankee fan as a kid. I don't know if a Yankee fan, but we grew up same time. We're from the same my mid 80s. So, yeah. I mean, I played in high school in short. I wore number 2 because I love Jeter. I mean, the Yankees to me were, they're the gold standard for everybody. If you don't like them, then fuck those guys. We don't like what we're doing. They're just buying everybody, but they were the best. They were the Pinstripes, the Bernie Williams, the Riveras, those guys. They showed up, they took care of business, and they won, and that was it. Now I look at the Yankees now, and I can't help but just kind of like shit on them when I talk about them. I'm like, I just don't like the way they play baseball. I don't like it. It bothers me. But the Dodgers, similar. Obviously they are the new Yankees, but the difference I think now is other people are doing the same, or at least trying to. And I think at the bottom line of it, anybody can afford, maybe other than Ohtani, to pay an individual player what the Dodgers have paid him. But a guy like Edwin Diaz going over there, his brother's in the organization. He said, dude, you got to come here. This is the best. I've been around a little bit. They treat you better than anywhere I've been. Trust me. He got his offer from the Dodgers and didn't even go back to Cohen, who would have paid him more. He would have. And said, all right, cool, I'm out. So to me, the culture that the Dodgers have built plays a much bigger part than the money. But I'm not saying it's bigger than the money, but more than people are paying attention to. Because we're not in the clubhouse. We don't actually know. But to me, it seems pretty obvious. Everybody wants to win, but also to manage literally 15 all-stars on one team, and it doesn't look like anybody has an ego. You go, this looks like a great place to be. Also, I can be the man. Kyle Tucker, I think it's a perfect spot. He can go be the man without having to be the man. It's like, right. He doesn't want to.
Without the pressure of being the man.
Yeah, it's like, man, if I don't come through right here, hopefully Ohtani or Freeman or Betts or anybody else on this team that's as good as me will. It's like, So I get it. And I think that's the baseball culture. Like, even the teams that win that weren't supposed to win, you look at them and go, the culture. The Blue Jays were crying and they're like, we're just bummed we don't get to come to this clubhouse every day again. It's like that. It's because they created something amazing. And I think that's the biggest piece to it. And again, Dodgers, they had the highest payroll, and they should have lost that World Series 3 different times if the Blue Jays executed, So baseball's anyone on any given day. And it is fun. I do enjoy this time. It's almost more fun than opening day, because it's like you said. I mean, I coached against a kid in high school, made a video about how he should be up with the Yankees already, Spencer Jones, a month ago, and all the Yankee fans were like, he strikes out 37% of the time. He can't hit big league pitching. In his first game this year, he hits a ball out of the stadium. I'm like, yeah, good, go kid, go get him, buddy. But it's just a fun time to see those guys do it. The prospects, like you talked about,
Oh,
it's awesome.
Well, you coached Spencer Jones?
I coached at Carlsbad High School for like 10 years, and he went to La Costa Canyon, which is right next to us. I coached against him for 4 years. I watched him from freshman to senior year, and the kid was absolutely unbelievable.
Wow.
Probably the toolsiest guy. He was like 6 feet 6 inches at the time.
Yeah.
Threw 96 off the mound as a lefty, hit bombs. I'm like, this dude is a freak. So fun to see him go up there. And then my shortstop, 2020 shortstop, the COVID season, he got drafted and broke into the bigs last year with the Cardinals. Very cool. Thomas Sajacy. So his name's Thomas Sajacy.
Oh, Thomas Sajacy.
Yeah.
Dude, I pulled his so I do collect cards, and I've worked with Fanatics the last few years, and we opened like a 200, 300, maybe even a $500 box of cards at the Fanatics Fest in New York. And what do we pull? A Thomas Sajacy patch auto, number to 10, which, listen, it's cool if you're a Thomas Sajacy fan, but for the person who paid the $500, I don't know if they were that thrilled by it. Hey, all respect to Thomas Sajacy.
No, 100%. I get it. 100%. I did the same thing. I was at a CAA. If you've heard of them, they're a big agency. Yeah. They got everybody. I give them hats. They do like a spring training party for their players. Welcome back. And so I give them hats, part of the package. They give their players. But there was a card company there ripping cards, and they're like, "Oh, dude, you got to rip a card with us. Here's how we do it. We open a box, same thing, probably $500-$600 box." And he's like, "Whoever gets the lowest number wins all the cards." I'm like, "All right, cool." So we went like pack for pack, and we're doing it. And I think I ended up winning, but I pulled a couple good Skeens cards, and I was like, "Oh, sick, nice." And then he pulled a Sajacy, and I'm like, "Oh shit, let me see that." And he's like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "This is the best card in the whole box. Give me that thing, dude. You could have all the rest." He's like,
Skeens for Sajacy, straight up.
Yeah, I'll give you this $500 card for that $1.51. Let's go. But no, it is cool. That was the fun part about coaching, and probably real similar to you in the interviews. You interview these players, and then you get to know them, and now you get to root for them on a personal level, which I think is the coolest part of my job. Whenever everybody asks, I'm like, I'm now watching like guys that I know a little bit, go have success, and it's the coolest thing. It makes it really fun.
Without a doubt, man. I mean, this goes back to even like Darrelle Revis, right? In 2009, when I interviewed him, when I had him on the show, it's like, yeah, he wasn't all pro at the time, but Hall of Famer. It's like I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
And guys, and even comedians, right? From that perspective too, because so many friends of mine, even that I came up with, I mean, I look at someone like Nikki Glaser. Nikki Glaser, I'm sure you're familiar. Like most people in America know who Nikki Glaser is today. She's hosting Golden Globe. She's doing these things. It's the coolest thing to think that like in 2007, Nikki Glaser's at my apartment in Brooklyn. Like we're just like hanging out, a bunch of like unknown comedians trying to make it and doing open mics and all these things. And to see someone like her, and it takes 20 years sometimes. I mean, but she, to see her ascend to where she is in the holy moly. I mean, it's the most incredible thing. And we'll text occasionally. Every time I see her, do something big in the news, I just go, "Nick, I'm so freaking proud of you and so happy for you," because I know how hard it is to get there and how much work she put in along the way all these years. And I have a lot of friends like that, Sam Morrell, Mark Norman, people that, we all started out together, and you put the work in. Earnest effort never fails. That's one of my mottos that I like to live.
I like that.
Earnest effort will always succeed. If you're doing your best, and only if you're doing your best. So if you're doing your best and you're showing up with your best, good things will happen. It may not be today, tomorrow, next week. You never know when. That's the part that you have to kind of like get to God, right? Let go and let God. Yeah. But you do your best. It's going to happen at some point. Just trust it.
I agree with that. That's my advice to most everybody who asks. And I don't get asked for my advice very often, but when I do, that's usually the answer. I'm like, as crazy as it sounds, don't quit and don't lie to yourself. There's working, and then there's being busy. Like work towards the goal, and I'm telling you, don't quit. I promise it'll happen. Like it's just even my clothing brand. I told you when it popped off, but that was after a year and a half of zero sales because I thought I'll do a golf brand. That's what everybody's doing. I'll make some money. Didn't sell a single thing. I mean, not even a courtesy buy from my friend that's like, this shit sucks, but I'll support Jake. And then I just was like, all right, that didn't work. I'll do streetwear. Did that. And then the whole These Are the Good Old Days saying came. During COVID, I was sitting around a bunch of older guys and they're like, dude, this is brutal. I can't even pretend to go to work and get away from my family. I'm like, that sounds awful. I'm like, I think these are like the good old days. We don't have to work. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to feel bad because no one else is and no one else can. So I think these are like the good old days. We're going to look back and go, that shit was fun. And went home that night at 2 a.m., sent the little logo to my buddy, said, put this on a hat. And it blew up. And I'm like, the second I started selling something I believed in, it worked immediately. The first 2 rounds trying to make money, nobody bought in. But like we talked about earlier, you find what you're supposed to be doing and you attack it, it will 100% work. I have zero doubts, but I like that. So I appreciate this time. Let's wrap up with, finish off. Tell me a little bit. I've got to come up and see you, and I'm hosting the show with you. That's already a lock in my brain. So we'll connect on that and do that. But anything else that you got going on, or just pushing this to Savvy again? I love this is so interesting to me.
Yeah, I've sort of, one of the lessons I've learned, frankly, as I've gotten older, is because I'm probably a little bit like you in the sense where we have so many ideas, right? Constantly. Like you're saying, you tried the golf, you tried the street, we try a lot of things and you find something. But I've suffered in the past of trying to do too much, perhaps at once, trying to, diffuse my attention and my energy to a lot of different projects. And listen, if you want to get something done in this world, in this life, like, there's the Buddhist saying of like one point in mind, singular laser focus on your goal, because that's where you have your energy, right? Energy is attention and awareness. And if you put it on one thing, like a magnifying glass in the sun, the sun is nice and warm and it's diffuse energy, but you put a magnifying glass there and you concentrate the sun's energy into one point, you can start a fire. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to start a fire with Savvy. I'm putting everything into Savvy. Even when people come to me and say, hey, I want to work with you. I want Scott to host this thing, or can you do a brand deal or something? I was like, well, you can do it with me, but you're going to be doing it with Savvy, really, because everything you do with me now is Savvy. I'm tying myself to this thing. It's my company, man. It's like this is going to live or die on how I perform and how I do, how I run with it. So that's why like everything is on the Savvy. Yeah, I had a vintage clothing store and I had a website. I still have a website, but none of that even matters anymore. Like I got to focus on this and get this going, because if Savvy pops off, everything else will fall in place, I believe.
That fires me up right there. It's a perfect way to finish this, because normally I haven't done this in a while, but I started this podcast this way. I'm gonna start it again with you. I would ask a question, or ask you to leave a question for the next guest without knowing who it is. So a deep one, a funny one, a general, whatever it is. And then the next guest will answer it and leave a question for the next person. So I don't have a question for you because I haven't done this in a while, but I think what you just said is an answer to anybody watching this of how to get things done. And I like that. So we can edit this if it takes you a second to think about a question, but give us a question for the next guest. Again, it could be a player, it could be somebody like you who's just in the space of entertainment. It could be anything.
I mean, man, the question that I try to always just come back to for myself, and it's, I mean, there are a couple things. I mean, there's like the question, like, am I doing my best? I always like check myself with that one. I mean, that's a little bit of a self-affirmation kind of thing, but a more general question to ask somebody, it comes back to like my sense of my understanding of like what reality is. And this is getting a little heady, a little metaphysical.
That's okay. I like that.
But we all, there's this term of virtual reality, right? VR. And people think like, oh, VR, you put on a headset and now I'm in this virtual reality world. But the greater truth is that we're constantly in a virtual reality world. Each one of us is in our own VR. What we see, what you're seeing, what I'm seeing, what everybody is seeing at any given time is just a virtual reality, because it's their reality, right? Like, think about the moment we're having right now. There are billion, trillion, zillion moments and realities happening around the world, even in San Diego right now. Let alone like on Saturn and Jupiter, there are moments happening over there. Every everywhere in the universe, there's moments and realities happening. Ours are the ones that we're in, that we're looking at. So the question is like, if you kind of can let that sink in and go, wait a minute. So I'm just essentially I am creating my own reality is what that means, because I can walk this way and now my reality is looking to the right. I can look to the left and now my reality is this wall. Like, it's wherever you look, whatever you perceive. So the question I have for your guests and all future guests is, what reality do you want to create for yourself today?
Love that.
You know,
love that.
What story do you want to tell? What kind of person do you want to be? It's always a choice. Everything's a choice. What choice are you making today to make it the best day?
Amazing. That's an amazing question and an amazing interlude to the question. I love that. I think we're going to have a good time when I come up there. I already know that. I also am going to be going live this year on baseball games. You're going to have to jump on live and stream some baseball games here and there.
Absolutely. And if I have a wish, if I have one wish, I'm going to leave you with a question, with a wish here.
Okay.
In 2026, because I believe in manifestation, all these things, I want to manifest Jake Savicki and Jack Sawinski.
Hey, there we go.
The new Dodger.
There we go. I'm right.
New Dodger roster. Invite Jake Savicki and Jack Sawinski. I want to see the two of you, whether it's like this on a stream together. I want to picture the two of you together. I want to make that happen. Come on.
I love that. That's my kind of manifestation. I love stuff like that, because to me, it'd probably be a great time, but the beginning of it's hilarious to me. That's hilarious because it is.
Wait a minute, Jack.
That close.
I'm Jake.
I'm Savicki. Sawinski. Okay.
Sawinski. You can have like a whole who's on first routine.
Exactly. I love that so much. Well, Scott Rogowsky, thank you. To the fans, I appreciate you guys listening to this. This will be, this is one of my favorites. I say that often and I mean it, but this to me, I like baseball players. I get them on, I talk baseball. I get somebody like you, like I told you before we started, this will be a little bit of a Q&A for me to get to know you. And to me, that's almost more fun because I'm like the mouthpiece for our listeners. I want to know you too. And getting to know people like you and I don't know, it makes me feel good. I'm leaving this with better energy and I feel good today because of you. So thank you for that. I appreciate your time.
Brother. Likewise. It was a great conversation. It's been great getting to know you too. And I'm looking forward to following you on your journey, and follow me on mine, playsavvy.live. Let's get it out there one more time. Playsavvy.live. Download today.
There it is. All right, man. Thank you. We'll catch you a little later.
Thank you, man.
Thank you guys for listening. These kind of talks for me are awesome. If you want to hear more and get guests like this that are a little baseball related, but really outside of baseball and just kind of talking life, I love doing that. If you got anybody like this that you think would be a good interview, let me know. I'm going to start talking to them all. I'll talk to everybody. I appreciate you guys for listening. I love you all so much. As always, like, share, subscribe, all the things that don't cost you any money. This is the Hold My Ball podcast. We'll see you guys on the next episode.